y'all, it's Amanda with Tap Mom and the Big Brigade. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday evening. I'm doing okay. Just been working on a blanket that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. I did get my prize in from MamaG gear, so I'm going to show y'all that, and I'll show y'all. I know I have some new subscribers, so welcome. I really much appreciate you coming and subscribing. We are now about 11 or 12 away from 3K. And I'm so excited. So of course, with a 3K, there would, as soon as I hit it, and I've hit it, and it stayed consistent for about a week, I'm gonna start probably in the next couple of days. I'll start going through my stash and pulling some yarn for a 3K giveaway, because I'm so close. And so I will be pulling things together, you know, to figure out what's going to go in that giveaway. But it'd mostly be yarn. And I think because I do have some people that watch my channel that are not crocheters. So, because I know, I think Kayla mentioned that she had some people that, you know, watch her channel that aren't necessarily crocheters. And I think someone else, I think when I was in MamaG Gear's live a while ago, she had somebody that mentioned that they weren't crocheters. They just watch her because they like her. You know, and because she does other things besides crochet. So, so I will do that. I will do a $25 gift card for Amazon, you know, or maybe a PayPal if you prefer, as an alternative to the yarn and whatever other little physical goodies I offer to the if you're located in the lower 48 states. Now, if you're in Canada and you want to pay the extra postage to get it to Canada, then that's fine. We can negotiate that. But if you're in the lower 48, you'll get the physical prize. If you're, you know, outside of that area, with that exception being if you wanted to pay the postage for Canada, then you know, I'll do a gift card for Amazon or a PayPal. So that's the way I can include everybody that watches me, that's a subscriber or a channel member. I know a lot of people that are not tech savvy, or maybe it hasn't been spelled out to them before. Maybe they don't understand the ins and outs of subscription versus membership. Subscriptions is just where you subscribe to a channel. You're just supporting them without costing you anything. And that just means that when they release content, if you have your notifications on your phone or tablet, you'll get notified that they've released a new video or a live, or, you know, posted on their community page or what have you. So that doesn't cost you anything to do a subscription. So if you're out there and you've been watching me a while and you've had to search for me every time because you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You're helping me, actually, because the higher subscription I have, the better my little YouTube check gets. It's just a thing. So it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. So you know, please do that. I know I forget to do it. I had this little sign made. I think last year I had this little sign made so I can hang it in the background, because I am terrible about asking people to subscribe to my channel. I keep forgetting. I just forget. I get so caught up in what I'm doing and I just completely forget. Now, memberships for my channel start at 99 cents. Yes, 99 cents. For 99 cents, you get to attend the members lives when I do them, and if whatever members content, you know, that I release, you'll have access to. And I don't do Zoom meetings and all that, you know, fancy stuff. I'm tech savvy to a point. But that Zoom stuff kind of is over my head. I don't like it. It's just not me. I have an anxiety disorder, and it's too much going on at the same time for me. So now live streams I can do as long as I don't go over about 2.5 hours. If, you know, and as long as I'm, you know, I don't know how the bigger channels do it with thousands of people being in their live, in the chat going bzz, bzz. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. That would overwhelm me really big. That would definitely overwhelm me. So that's why I really don't have huge ambitions for my channel. It getting way high. I think 5K would be my ultimate goal, because I'm on disability, so my bills are covered. I for the most part, basically after we pay bills, we have what we need to eat on, and that's about it. So the YouTube money is just yarn buying, and and to help us out the second half of the month. That's it. It's not, I'm not getting rich here or anything like that. So every little bit helps. If the channel memberships and then the watching of the videos and letting the ads run helps with that as well. And it just helps me buy yarn to show y'all and to make things. I probably could never buy yarn again and have enough. I would just have to keep recycling yarn y'all have already seen. And I'd eventually bore y'all to tears with that, because everybody wants to see new stuff, right? I want to see new stuff. That's why I go trolling for videos where I see yarn hauls of stuff I've never seen. I love it. But anyhow, let me get to this lovely prize that I got all the way from New York, upstate New York. What does it say here? Wayland, New York. And I just lost some of it across the floor. Let me see if I can use that to, yep, okay. And she generously sent me some Pride yarn and another little thing in here. So we'll go over the ice yarn first. This is a ice yarn. Let me see if it says. I've had this rainbow before, but I hadn't had this rainbow. What the label says. These labels are pretty vague. Usually their labels are really vague. Goodness gracious. Can you even see? 44% acrylic and 56% polyester. 115 meters. 4 weight. Recommends a 5mm crochet hook. Let's see if I can get this other half out. I was looking for if it would say the color. Well, let's see. It does not. It just says made in Turkey. It doesn't even give a color number that I could tell y'all. That's what I was really hoping I could give y'all a color number at least, maybe. But it doesn't say. But it's really pretty. I would say that's the primary color rainbow versus this other rainbow, this more pastel-y rainbow, I would say. But they're both beautiful. They're both beautiful. I will be passing this on to Eva, my bestie Eva, because she likes this yarn. I've tried to work with it before and it just didn't suit me. So I will pass this along to her. She is nuts about this stuff. So these two little pastel-y rainbows and then this primary color one, that will go to Eva. And she knows that already. The rest of this is all mine. She also included Premier Sweet Row Vivid, and this is gorgeous. Absolutely. I don't think I have any of this. I have some Sweet Row Vivid, but I don't have it in this color. This is called Primary, and the Vivids are 174 yards, 160 meters, 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, and this is of course it's a 4 weight. It's been tested and approved against 350 plus harmful substances. They recommend a 5.5 knitting needle and crochet hook. I happen to have an eye hook right here. This is the one that Mama Kayla gave me yesterday. And I will treasure it always. And it says right here on the bottom that it's an eye hook. So I might give that a try later. I just had a lovely thought. I'll make me a bucket hat with this hook. I'm gonna try to anyway, because this hook might work with some yarn and may not work with other yarn. That's been because I've been using where is it? This is a Susan Bates hook. This is a vintage Susan Bates hook that I was so graciously given a whole bunch of hooks and needles and stuff from a subscriber friend, Diane, and this was in there. And this is a vintage Susan Bates hook. It's a 6.5 millimeter K hook, and I've been making my granny square blanket with this hook, and I really like this hook. I didn't think I was a steel hook person, but this one I really have enjoyed working with, and that's why it kind of opened my mind up a bit to other possibilities. So I'm a person who I get stuck on things. I find something that works for me, and then I think that that's the only thing that works for me, and I don't like to step out of that comfort box. And so I know I'm not the only one that's like that. So these are typically my favorite, the clover hooks. This is my 5 millimeter clover. This is what I'm using to make Eva's cardigan. I'm using Malabrigo Arroyo to make her cardigan, and I'm using this 5 millimeter hook, and it's sport weight, but I'll show that to you in a minute. I'm working on the second half, and then I'll add to the second, and back and forth like I normally do. With hexagon cardigans, I'll start one half and work a whole skein, or hank in this case, on that half, and then I'll start the second half with one skein and work that whole work that, and then I'll go back to the first half, and until I work them alongside each other. That way, basically, that I'm working them side by side, and they're done at the same time, and I'm not starting all over again with the second one. That way, you know how many rows you need at the end. It makes it work. It makes sizing much easier too. So it makes it seem like it works up quicker. It does. Anyway, back to this prize. And before we went off into the hook thing, but yes, I think this will make a nice squishy hat. I think it'll make a really cute bucket hat. What do y'all think? That bucket hat pattern that Crystal at Bagel Day has, the one that she did with the Red Heart Granny Square yarn. Yeah, if I remember, I'll link it in the description, and maybe I'll go. But this is so squish. Oh, it's so squish. But I'll be using this 6 millimeter Susan Bates hook, because that's what I used when I made this little red one. Where is it? Because I made this little red one that I'm gonna give this one away to Will's friend's little boy. But I made this one with this Susan Bates hook and some Premier Basics red yarn, and this is Premier yarn. So I will be making this one for myself, though. we not share rainbow yarn with nobody, not here. And then she also sent me one skein of this. This has been in and out of my cart on Joann's website. About 3 or 4 times. I put it in the cart, and then I take it out of the cart, and then I put it in the cart, and then I take it out. What's wrong with me? I don't know. But this is wonderful yarn. I did one of my lovely yarny friends, Roxy. There's a colorway, I forget. I don't remember the name of the colorway, but she sent me enough skeins to make her a top, and she paid me to make her a top in this Big Twist Living yarn. It is 100% anti-pilling acrylic. It is so wonderful to work with. It just glides on the hook. And you want to use a 5.5 on this. I think that's their recommendation. No, actually, they recommend a 4.5. I used a 5.5 without a problem. It was wonderful. And then they recommend, let's see. Oh, wait a minute, maybe. Oh, no. Crochet hook, 5.5. Knitting needle, 4 to 5.5. I don't know why there's a disparity there, but this has 199 yards, 3.85 ounces, 182 meters, and 110 grams. It is 4 weight. And they have a little picture here that tells you how many, you need this many balls to make this thing and this thing. So, yeah. It says you can make a hat with 1 ball. You can make a hat and scarf with 3. You need 5 to make a sweater. I don't remember how many I had for Roxy's. I don't remember. And then you need 6 to make a 50 by 60 blanket. It really depends on your gauge. That's where your tension and your gauge is going to come in. Now, I am a loose crocheter because I don't have a whole lot of string, you know, really brute strength to my hands. So I'm a kind of a loose crocheter. So not as loose as some, but somewhat of a loose crocheter. I don't have a real strong grip. So it really just depends on your grip and your stitches. If you're a real tight crocheter, you could probably get away with that. But if you're a loose crocheter like me, you're going to probably want to have, let's see, 6 balls for a blanket. I would get 8 or 9 just to be safe, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a more is better, better safe than sorry kind of person. I don't like to start a project and I always get at least 1 or 2 skeins over what I think it's going to be because of my style of crocheting. And sometimes I have yarn left and sometimes I don't. Like this granny square blanket, I went through 2.5 Karen 1-pounders on top of the other yarn. So, but it's going to be a huge blanket for my bed. So, huge. Let's see, there's more yarn in here. Let's see, and then I got 2 more big twist yarns. This is the Value 100% acrylic. It is 269 yards, 4.3 ounces, 246 meters, 121 grams. This color is called Happy Rainbow. And that's gorgeous. That's really pretty. So I got 2 of them. So I don't know what, this may be a hat and scarf or something. I don't know yet. I really like that though. I love those colors together. It's got my turquoise. It's got that highlighter yellow in there. It's got a nice shade of pink. So yeah, I think those are really nice colors. You can't go wrong with that. I think those are the transgender colors for Pride, if I remember correctly. I think those are the transgender colors. And then, of course, one of my favorite all-time Red Heart yarns, which is Favorite Stripe. Yeah, this is the better end. It will still use. Trust me, it will still use. I think I kept a skein of this somewhere because this works up great. It's so beautiful. And this is, of course, called Favorite Stripe, and it's a 4-weighted yarn. This skein's been around the block a little bit, but that is okay. It will use just fine. This is 10 ounces, 283 grams, 482 yards, 440 meters. And it's a 4-weight. It has that Okotex standard. Let's see what size hook. Let's see. It recommends a 5.5 knitting, 5.5 hook and 5 millimeter knitting needle. Now I use a 6 with Red Heart, a 6 millimeter hook with Red Heart every time. Would you look at this bag? I love this bag. That is so cute. It's just the cutest mailer bag. But that is my prize from MamaG gear. Now that I've drug it out 18 minutes. Do y'all mind? I hope y'all don't mind. I'm just going to put it all back in here until I figure out where it's all going. I don't know. This might end up being a hat too. Unless I decide to keep that one and get more to go with it and make a top with it. Because that was my ultimate goal when I put it in my cart, take it out of my cart, was to make a top with it. But anyhow, I have started sewing these squares together. Now I'm just gonna briefly show you these squares because there's something I want to do at the end of the video that I don't want. I know some people might want to hear it and some people might not. But that when I started this granny square blanket, with everything that I go through mental health wise and everything that I've been through this year in general, between the recovery from gastric bypass surgery that took about the time that I started feeling really good in January, the first part of February, I got a kidney stone attack that lasted 2 months, and I was, sick. I had spent 5 days in the hospital, another 7 days on antibiotics from home with a PICC line in my arm. It's been a whole ordeal. And so with everything that I've been through this year, the only thing that really got me through was my faith in God. And so, and I know, I mean, I'm a Christian-based channel, so, you know, I know that's not for everybody, so that's why I'm going to include the Christian content toward the end, so that, you know, if those folks that want an explanation to the number 7 being God's number, I did a little research with that, and I found some verses that somewhat explain it, but, you know, it's left up to interpretation. I'll put it that way. So, because I've had some questions about that, but because I'm naming this blanket my ode to God. So, if that makes any sense, it doesn't have to make sense to everybody. But with God's number being 7, or the number that's contributed to Him anyway, all my squares have 7 rows in the middle. Okay, oh, that's the wrong side. But they have 7 rows in the middle, and then I did 4 rows of this main color. This is the color Ocean in Karen 1-pounder. This is just I love this yarn in black. This is Crafter's Secret in gold. Let me look. I got it down here. Sun gold, excuse me. And this here is a sapphire color from Bernat Value acrylic, and this is again the 1-pounder in the middle. But I did 28 of these. I know, 28, it's a lot. And because if you divide 28 by 4, you get 7. So that's why I'm going to sew them together and across in 4, and then there will be 7 rows of 4. And and when I get them all sewn together, then I'm going to go around it a couple of times with the gold. I still have the gold yarn down here, the sun gold yarn down here. I'm going to do at least 2 rows around the blanket, and then I'll finish it with black, and it'll be big enough to go almost cover the top of my bed, and my bed's a queen size bed. So I wanted another big blanket for my bed besides the the granny square blanket. I think I did either last year or the year before. I can't remember. But the first granny square blanket I ever did where I sewed the squares together was a hot mess. Because the squares were all different color, different sizes, and I fudged the fool out of that thing together to get it to go together. So I have so learned from since then, and I've made so many things since then. I think that was 2022 is when I did that, and I've made so many things since then. You know, that was before I started making sweaters and stuff too. But I've progressed in my crochet journey since then, and I don't make crooked stuff like that anymore. But Theo loves to lay on that blanket, so that'll go in there in the living room on the couch with the Franken blanket. There's a blanket nicknamed Franken blanket that was when I first started crocheting. It's kind of a marriage between loom knitting and crochet, because I had loom knitted a whole bunch of panels, and because I was going to do a blanket, and they were all different sizes, and so I Franken blanked it together. I single crocheted all these different size panels together, and then it was not a particular shape. It wasn't even. So I had, by the time I got them all single crocheted together, I had learned how to do the double crochet, and so I was double crocheting rows on this side and that side, trying to get it even. And it's got all different colors of yarn. Y'all know it's a hodgepodge, because of course I used scrap yarn, and it was just yeah, it was a hot mess. But it's a comfy hot mess. It's a thick blanket, because I used 2 strands to do everything. Back then when I was loom knitting, I used 2 strands to do everything, and 2 strands of worsted weight 4. So yeah, it's a thick blanket, and Theo loves it. He you know, it's on the couch in there in the living room, and he loves it. So but there is a video back in the daily vlog videos, and it says introducing Franken blanket if you want to go find that. I'm not going to drag it in here. It's big. It's big. But yeah, there's that. But this is not going to be Franken blanket. This is going to be beautiful. And once I get done with this one, Will's birthday, my oldest son, who will be 32 in September, his birthday's coming up, and I have bought big twist yarn in 2 different shades of green and black to do him a corner to corner. So as soon as I get done with this blanket, I will start that blanket. And let's see here, I got, and this is the second half of Eva's cardigan, and this is the yarn I'm using. This is Wales Road, I think is what's the name of this colorway. But this is Malabrigo yarn. This is the good stuff. I was gifted this yarn by one of my lovely subscriber friends. Please don't ask me to remember. I can't remember. Lots of things have happened to me since then. But this is how it's working up. It's purple and blue, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's heaven on a hook. It really is. I'm using this 5mm clover hook, which is very easy with it. And as you can see, it's really thin, and it doesn't have heft to it when you press it in. It's very collapsible, but the 5mm works just fine with it. I guess with the weight loss, also came a relief to my joints and my hands, so I'm able to work with smaller yarn. I'm not going to go smaller than this weight or 3 weight, because this is much thinner than this mandala. And this goes really fast for me, considering it faster than the Malabrigo. But am I going to stop where I only had 5 hanks of that particular colorway and weight of Malabrigo. So hopefully it's enough for that cardigan. I think it will be. If not, I got something I could probably put with it and make it work. This is regular 3 weight in the mandala. And I really like how that looks. It's so pretty to me. But I look forward to finishing those as well. And now I'm gonna, if those of you that don't want to hear me read from the Bible, on the verses that I found regarding the number 7, and basically the consensus of the number 7 and how it relates to God is that it represents wholeness and completion spiritually. And the way I put this to the besties earlier is like I guess I could just say, God, you complete me. And so I couldn't sum up my faith and my beliefs any more than that. You know what I mean? When I read that, I was like, wow, that really just sums it up for me. Wholeness and completeness. Because, of course, I'm single and divorced and have been for many, many years. And I both of my closest friends are all married and have been for many years. And they couldn't see themselves as single. But in the same token, I don't feel that there's this big hole in my life because I'm not. And now I understand why. Because God has filled that hole for me. I don't. Even though, I'm sure that if the good Lord sees fit to send me a husband or a mate, not necessarily a husband, but a partner in life, if He intends for me to have one, He will send them my way. He will put someone in my way that I can't get rid of by being mean to them. Can you see me being mean to somebody? Not really. But someone that I can't live without, I'll put it that way. Or someone that, makes themselves invaluable to me in some way, shape, or form. Then I will go for it. But so far that hasn't happened. I don't get out a lot. I live smack dab in the middle of Shreveport, Louisiana, in the city, where everything is happening. But I still don't get out very much. I don't have the budget to get out and do a whole bunch of fancy stuff. And so I just don't. Me and Johnny, my youngest son, who is autistic, He's 25. He's the apple of my eye, to be honest. He really is. He's my activity buddy. He and I will go to the movies and go to eat dinner and stuff like that. And so he's my buddy. He's usually my date when I go out. All 6 foot tall of him. And he looks a little bit like me too. But let's see if I can pull this up. And this is a bit of a special Bible that we have possession of now. Johnny's father left when Johnny was just under 2 years old, because he had gotten abusive and controlling and abusive. And I found a way out and I took it. And he had written a note to me and Will and John and left it in this Bible, and then left this Bible in a car that he had to give back because he couldn't afford the payments. And then the person that repossessed the car was a friend of his, and so when they cleaned out the car, they noticed the Bible, and they kept it in their car lot office. And a few months ago, they were cleaning out the office to sell the property, and they came across the Bible, and they found Will, because Will's full name is listed on the note that Mark wrote. And they asked, he messaged Will on Facebook and asked him, was this person known to you? And so they conversed back and forth a little bit, and Will's like, that used to be my stepfather. And because Mark passed away in 2012 from complications due to diabetes, from what I understand anyway, from his widow, who I have contact with. She's a very sweet woman. But the man generously tracked us down to give us this Bible, because he wanted Mark's family to have this Bible. And there was a note in here that he wrote, and that's how he found us, and he left it with the Bible. And it was very sad to read that all these years later. But when I tried to look at, I had a very small little Bible, and when I tried to read it, the words were just too tiny. I couldn't really read the print in it. It was just too small. And then I remembered we had this Bible, so I pulled this Bible out and looked up the verses I wanted to look up. But holding this Bible and knowing it was his, and Mark wasn't really a bad person when we met. He was actually a preacher. He was an assistant preacher, or whatever you want to call it. He was ordained at one point. And and this was his Bible. It just made me emotional, because holding this reminds me of who I fell in love with back in the 90s. That gentle soul. He was 6'4". He was a big man. And I fell in love with the gentle soul. And unfortunately, joblessness and the pressure of bills and a family to take care of just turned him into someone else. And he became someone that I couldn't live with. And I wasn't gonna, he started abusing the boys. He hurt Johnny, and Johnny was just a baby. And I wasn't gonna live there and continue to live through that. I'd been there as a child and watched my mother get beat. I wasn't going to endure that as a grown person. So I left and didn't look back. All these years later, it still affects me, because he gave me the greatest gift. He gave me John. I can't regret it, because I got the better end of the deal. I got Johnny. And that boy is a gift from God. Every day of my life, he's been a gift. I know a lot of people, struggle with their autistic children. Johnny's high functioning autistic, and he's not something I struggle with. Quite the opposite. He's the easiest part of my life. So anyway, didn't really intend for this video to go this way, but let me read y'all. I'm just going to read y'all a couple, because some of these kind of confused me as to how, when I looked up the information, I was like, how does that really, I didn't understand how that would relate to the number 7 and God and whatnot. Where's my notes? Oh, there it is. Okay. 2, 2, and 2, 3. Okay. Okay. So chapter 2, verse, I'm going to just start with the first verse, because sometimes when you read these things, you have to kind of read the verse before the one that's referenced, so that you get the whole perspective. Because sometimes if you just read the verse that's referenced, you don't really understand what they're trying to get at until you read the verse before that, and then you're like, oh, it makes sense to you. So it said to look up chapter 2, verse 2, but I'm going to read 1 and then 2 and 3, because that's the reference. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. So that's part of the 7th thing. And I think Matthew was the one that made a little more sense, that last one I looked up. So that's where I'm going to end it. Let's see here. Which one was this? Nope, that's not that. I put little markers where I was marking things, because I knew I wouldn't be able to keep up with it. Let's see. Matthew 18. Forgive me, y'all. I'm just, I don't do a lot of this. Oh, for Pete's sake. Matthew what? Verse 21. Okay. Verse 21, it says, And then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? ? Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which I would take account of his servants. I think after reading the before and after, basically, how many times should I forgive my brother? Not just 7 times, but 70th, always forgive your brother. Always forgive your brother. I can't remember if the one from Luke was y'all forgive me. I'm not a big student of the Bible. I just look at verses in my devotional book. 17:4. Okay, I'm gonna read the verse. Okay, this is Luke chapter 17, and it says Luke 17:4, but I'm gonna read the verses before that. It says, Then said he unto the disciples, It is impossible, but that offenses will come. But woe unto him through whom they come. It were better for him that a millstone were hanged around his neck than he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. take heed to yourself. If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him, and if he repent, forgive him. And if he trespass against thee 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day turn again to thee, saying, I repent, thou shalt forgive him. So every time your brother, your loved one, repents to you and asks you forgiveness 7 times, you 7 times forgive them. So, I'm sure there's more in here in the Bible regarding 7, but the message that I found that really spoke to me was that it meant wholeness and completeness in my spirituality. So when I finish my Ode to God blanket, I will share it with y'all. I will put a picture up, and I will put a picture on the community tab, because it'll be easier to just post it on the community tab, because it will be a big blanket on my big bed, and sometimes when I insert pictures they don't always work out. But there's a little bit of Bible information regarding the 7 the part of it being God's number, but it's always stuck with me about, you know, that being his number, because I had a preacher lady tell me that. She didn't give me a lot of backup about it, but I had known her, I had worked with her first and then attended her church a few times. Her and her husband were pastors, and this was when I lived back in Arkansas, and I attended her church enough to know that if she said it, it was true. And I didn't doubt her word for a hot second. So it's just something I took to heart and held on to, and has brought me solace. So hopefully those of you that stuck around this long and wanted to hear about the 7, the information, hopefully it brought you a little solace too. So when you're feeling a little low and you're needing a little lift, just ask God for that lift, and he shall deliver you. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Please remember though that I love you, and so does Jesus. And please, of course, remember to adopt, don't shop. Your best friend could be waiting for you at the shelter or the rescue. I'll see y'all again soon. Bye now.